So I've been playing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven. Pucker thine pooper, brace thy nips, and moisturize thy genitalia. It's JoJo time! If you've yet to do any of those things and don't know what the hell a JoJo is, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a currently quite popular anime and manga series, with the manga reaching all the way back to the awkward art of the 80s, and the anime only recently taking the world by homoerotic storm. Illustrated and written by Hirehiko Araki, it is a show about a bunch of flamboyant twinks, buff boys, and badass chicks kicking ass in various time periods all around the world. Each arc or chapter or part essentially telling its own story with its own cast of beautiful characters. Part 4, for instance, is a slice-of-life mystery set in the town of Morio. Part 7 is about snobby horse boys doing snobby horse boy things. And the first is a ye olde gothic horror type of thing set in old-timey England and has the buffest of buff boys. Separated in the way that it is, it works very fucking well, and there's plenty of good reason for it to be this popular.
But
What if someone were to create a what if scenario, throwing all of these characters into one big hypothetical pile, creating what I could only imagine to be the sexiest, gayest, greatest mess that has ever slabbered your member and fendered your bender? That mess is called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven, a fighting game for PlayStation to 4th. Despite JoJo essentially being a shonen jump show, I'd say that it isn't really. There's cool poses and big epic fights, sure, but unlike any other shonen show where a villain shows up every 5 fucking episodes with nothing else to bring to the table than I'm stronger than the last guy. JoJo is a lot more creative, introducing something different every 1 or 2 episodes. This is because of people in the JoJo world having these things called stands, which are a type of godlike spirit animal being that grants them a special power that could literally be anything from a gorilla ghost chip to a demon car, or even something as harmless like being able to predict the future through comic books. This means that not every episode is about dudes fighting, so I'd imagine that translating that into a traditional fighting game would be pretty hard.
Which is why they did not. I tricked you into thinking that they totally did a Yubayugaku. Blip.
I'm not even sure what to call it, to be honest. Like, I guess there's the Japan-exclusive beat-em-up-y shootery genre likely hailing from Anarchy Reigns. That's currently dominating the arcades there, with Gunslinger Stratos, the new Dissidia, Pokken, and that one Gundam game. Well, it sort of plays like one of those. An arena beat-em-up, I guess you could call it. In short though, the combat takes place in a fully navigational 3D arena with the camera placed far away, kind of over the shoulder-ish. Unlike proper fighters, there isn't a massive list of combos for each character, and it seems to rely more on tag team related contextual moves and building up meters. And what combos are there often involve dashing, sidestepping, and cancelling, like pressing triangle mid-dash or after a dash both amount to a different move. Certain buttons will also have a cooldown period, which could limit or affect what the outcome of a button press can end up doing as well. And the same goes for what partner you're using and where they are as opposed to you, and a handful of special bars, equipable items, and some other miscellaneous requirements like back attacks. The control scheme itself though is still a lot like a traditional beat-em-up, where square does a normal attack, triangle does a harder knockback type move, and various guards, sidesteps, and dashes are linked to the shoulder buttons. If I could sum it up in a concise manner, thus retroactively making that little ramble I just did completely pointless, I'd say that it's an arena fighter that mixes both the combat of Yakuza and Kingdom Hearts. Now, I know, that sounds a bit weird, cause, well, it is. But the basic principle is that just like Kingdom Hearts, there's a lot of versatility hidden under a single button. Like Yakuza, it bases that around the just now mentioned contextual variables. And much like both, it utilizes a simple and or mildly repetitive control scheme to keep this monster of a system as manageable as possible. I mean, shit like skill trees, straight up levels, and a trust system that grows as you use certain pairings are all used at once. So, I can see why they'd want to hide all of that beneath a simple 2 to 3 button control scheme, with the only alteration being that holding down L1 brings up your special abilities mapped to those very same buttons. How incredibly cheeky. Because of it having an RPG-style progression system though, JoJo's boisterous bollocks can start off a bit slow. Not to mention that the combat overall can feel a tad rigid just as well. I mean, the camera isn't always brilliant, occasionally getting stuck on various objects. Aligning oneself properly to meet the often very specific requirements to pull off certain moves is rather fiddly. And while keeping up combos together with your partner is a fuckload of fun, having to wait for your opponent to get back up after having been knocked down is a massive fucking pace breaker. Though, the absolute chaos you get when having 4 to 5 dudes all on screen at once, having at each other, is still pretty fucking great. I really don't want to understate this, just how much fun it is to straight up smash some dude all the way to the other side of the stage, dash over to your buddy and their current target, kick his butt as well, charge up your tag team meter thingy, and then unleash
the wrath of God
upon the both of them, paired with some of the hypest cutscene combos in the game. And more often than not, that's what JoJo's precarious predicament is like. Which, ironically, makes it even shittier when it fails in allowing the player to keep that flow going. So, I'd say that it's about time that I bring up the Blue Bomber again. Sonic the Hedgehog syndrome is a phenomenon seen in some action games where being good at the game feels amazing, thus making sucking at it feel extra bad. Sadly though, in some cases, like with the titular Hoggo himself, this could just as well be the game's fault due to odd control schemes, poor level design, and or laggy physics. And in JoJo's venture into homosexuality, it's most definitely down to some of the level design. I feel like games like this would work best in a wide open space. But here, they obviously had to model the levels after location as seen in the show, right? Which, yeah, sure, they totally should. But then, as to why they chose places like the rooftops in Cairo, or the bizarro gravity realm thingy that are already held to navigate on their own whilst casually walking, but when in combat, considering that shit's almost entirely based on dodging and relative distance, it actually becomes a bloody fucking hindrance mechanically is far beyond me. Like, you know how in the show, like, the main villain Dio, he like dies in the end, right? Well, I'd say it's about time we bring him back. But sir, how will we do this? Well, there could be like a Dio from like an alternate universe or something who could like travel between universes so we can like fight the heroes from this universe. And then he can like team up with the other villains and like there'll be like a super group of bad guys fighting like a super group of good guys, like, yeah, right. Come on lads, it'll be great. We can have them like discuss fetishes, do cool poses and touch dicks. The fans all love it. Sir, I'm gonna be honest with you. That idea sounds really fucking amazing! So the story is a bit stupid and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's a non-canonical video game, it's fine you guys, don't worry about it. Considering it spans across all 8 chapters though, and not just the first 4 that have been animated so far, spoilers might be a bit of an issue for some. And yeah, if you aren't familiar with the show at all or are currently in the process of watching, catch up first. Though it does seem like they had the anime in mind at least somewhat, as apart from the ending of part 3, being that that's where the story picks up, not much is spoiled. Like, the existence and purpose of certain characters are, I guess, but it doesn't outright reference major plot details part 4 onward. So that's good. Besides, without context, what little spoilers might be out there somewhere won't make any sense or will be forgotten by your brain by the time the anime catches up anyway. In any case, it is a pretty cool little thing. It's fun to see these people who were never meant to interact do just that, or see the British buff dudes from the 1800s walk around 90s Japan alongside some Italian twinks. It's certainly quite the bizarre adventure, and odd translation that doesn't match up with the anime publication aside, like Afdal, mate, not Abdul. Yeah, okay, sure. Or how about AC/DC, who's named after the band, but in the game is spelled out as SCDCC? Or Vanilla Ice, which you can clearly hear them say as well, is called Cool Ice in text. Yeah, Okay. The writing is pretty tight. All characters act and react accordingly, and while the whole "what is Dio up to now" thing is definitely getting a bit old considering this would be the third time that they're doing it, it's also quite entertaining still. Though I do question the motivations that some of these people have in regards to going along with this interdimensional time travel bullshit. Yo, we're fighting some type of interdimensional god by using Jesus, his chopped up corpse, and we're vaguely related somehow. Step inside this time traveling turtle with me, you bitch. Yeah, okay. So yeah, JoJo's adventurous anal cavity is a big fucking mess, but an incredibly fun mess nevertheless. I wouldn't say that it holds up well as a traditional fighter or as a standalone not fanboy fodder game, but if you're interested, this is a neat way to kinda get a feel for what the show is like. In general though, I'd say that this is definitely something made for the fans. I get super hyped seeing my twink boys go at it, but that's just because I love them already. And even the acres of unlockables and the plethora of bonus content, alternate costumes, poses, artwork, voice clips, story deeds, and shit are only of value if you're already part of the cult. Though it is pretty good that it has as much content as it does, and that it's unlockable with in-game currencies won by actually playing the goddamn game. And it conveys the spirit of the show pretty well as well, I guess. The music is spot on and sax heavy as sex fuck. And the walking cycles, flamboyant animations are great despite the lower budgety vibe. Though I do feel that for the sake of uniformity, some of the worlds look a bit downplayed and less exaggerated than their animangu counterparts. The flat colors and thick brushstrokes seen in Part 4, for instance, are nowhere to be found here while walking around Morio. And the abstract color usages as seen in Part 1 and 2 are also absent. But they do still have some really cool frameable frames. Also, Joseph Joestar is just as amazing as always. Cue the reference only the fans will get.